Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dig into a really cool case study on how any service business can build an absolutely rock-solid reputation. We're going to look at a local moving company that didn't just promise a better service, they promised a heavenly one, and then, actually delivered. So let's break down their blueprint for building trust one step at a time.
But first, let me ask you something. Just think about the last time you moved, or maybe even just thought about moving. What's that one single stressful thought that just immediately pops into your head? Yeah, for most of us, the answer is pretty much everything.
And that feeling right there, that universal moving headache, that's the core problem. It's this chaotic, totally overwhelming experience that honestly creates a massive opportunity for any company that can genuinely make it better.
I mean, it all starts with the packing, doesn't it? You're just standing in a room, looking at a literal lifetime of stuff, and you have absolutely no clue where to even begin. The sheer amount of it is just paralyzing.
And then the fear kicks in. How in the world are you going to move that antique piano, or that giant mirror, or maybe your grandmother's priceless vase without something getting shattered? These are the items that literally keep you up at night. And finally, you've got the logistical nightmare. You have to be out of your old place by the 31st, but you can't get the keys to the new one until the 1st. It's like this high-stakes game of Tetris with your entire life. So yeah, that's the problem. It is stressful, it's complicated, and it's super emotional.
So how do you solve a problem that big? Well, while most companies are out there promising, reliable service, the one we're looking at today made a much bolder and frankly, a much more unusual promise to fight back against all that stress.
And this is it, right there on their website. It's not just about being good, it's about being heavenly. Just think about that word for a second. It was chosen specifically to be the exact opposite of the headache and anxiety we were just talking about. It's a direct counterattack to the customer's biggest fears. But heavenly can't just be some fluffy marketing buzzword, right? It has to actually mean something concrete. And for them, it means this: an exceptional client experience, where every single step of the process is designed to remove stress, not add to it. So, the big question is, how do they actually pull this off?
Because let's be real, a great promise is completely worthless if you don't have the tools and the systems to back it up. So let's pop the hood and look at the specific, practical toolkit they use to deliver on that heavenly promise.
Okay, so it all starts with this foundation of core services that directly solve those universal problems we talked about. Overwhelmed by packing? Bam, they have professional packers. Worried about those timing troubles? They've got secure storage and flexible scheduling. These are the basic building blocks of a stress-free move.
But this is the real game changer. One of the biggest sources of anxiety when you're moving is the final bill, that fear of hidden fees and surprise charges. By offering guaranteed pricing, they just remove that massive uncertainty right from the very beginning. This builds a huge amount of trust before a single box even gets lifted.
Okay, so they've spotted the problem, they've made a powerful promise, and they've built the services to deliver. But does it actually work? Well, the only way to know for sure is to listen to the people who've actually been through it. This is where proof becomes everything.
Let's start with the hard data. A combined 4.9-star rating across Google and Facebook. I mean, wow. In an industry as tough as moving, a number that high is pretty much unheard of.
And get this, that 4.9 isn't from like a dozen reviews, it's from over 1,000. That right there shows this isn't some fluke. It is a proven, repeatable pattern of making customers incredibly happy.
Now, let's look at the stories behind those numbers, because this review from Mark M. is just staggering. Think about it for a second. A person who has moved 27 times is basically a professional customer. For him to say this move was by far the best, well, that gives this testimonial an enormous amount of credibility. And then there's Ira L., reinforcing that key promise we talked about just a minute ago. Did you catch that line? The invoice was less than the estimate. I mean, that is direct proof that their guaranteed pricing promise isn't just a marketing slogan, it's how they actually do business.
So the customers are totally convinced. But what about the industry itself? Because when the experts start to agree with the public, that's when you know you are looking at something truly special.
I mean, just look at the pattern here. This isn't about winning one award. It's about winning the same major local award 5 years in a row. That kind of consistency just shows a deep, year-after-year commitment to being the best.
And it doesn't stop there. From Yelp to Forbes, the recognition is coming from all over. So this isn't just a local favorite. They are being recognized on a national level as one of the best in the entire business.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the problem, the promise, the delivery, and all that proof, what you get is more than just a successful moving company. You get a blueprint for building trust in pretty much any modern service business.
And here is that blueprint, boiled down into a simple 4-step formula. First, you find a real, universal pain point, like the stress of moving. Second, you make a bold promise that directly addresses it. You make it heavenly. Third, you build the actual tools, like guaranteed pricing, to make that promise a reality. And finally, and this is so important, you let your customers and the industry provide overwhelming proof that you actually deliver.
Which brings us to our final thought. As you look at this blueprint for building a brand, what do you think is ultimately more important? Is it that bold, heavenly promise that grabs people's attention, or is it the mountain of proof, all those reviews and awards, that turns that attention into real, lasting trust? It's kind of a chicken and egg question, but it's really at the core of what makes a great company today. Thanks so much for digging into this with us.